Hello there, we're live from our studios here in Kukumlimle on digital address GA0992539. This is your home of fearless, credible and independent journalism. Our lead stories this hour. Death of an 11-month-old child shocks many as a creche attendant is remanded by the Adenta Magistrate Court 1 till June 11. Clara Yani Ampa was seen in a CCTV footage force-feeding the baby, clutching her hands behind her as the baby screamed painfully. We hear from the Accra Region Police, which is handling the matter. Nationwide strike by lab scientists entered day 2 with its impact being felt across the country. We'll tell you the story of a woman in desperate need of blood in the Ashanti region as we check with the National Labour Commission seeking to compel the striking lab scientists to return to work through the courts. And this afternoon, we revisit the story of a 13-year-old compelled into illegal mining to take care of his sick father, a nursing mother, and a hungry family. He is dead now. More as owners of the land on which 3 people, including this 13-year-old, were killed in a mining pit, are put before court. And the pulse is brought to you by Global Communities Dignelu, affordable, safe sanitation. Join us on DSTV 421, Go TV 144. Remember, we're streaming live on our social media handles. Interact with us on 0540109009. My name is Gifty Andwapia, and many thanks for staying with us here on the Pulse. A sick father, a nursing mother, and a hungry family. That was a situation which compelled 13-year-old Fabatia to engage in illegal mining. But that was how his life ended. Fabatia is one of 3 persons who died in the pit's collapse at Breman in the Upper Dentra West District of the Central Region. His mother, Yasantua, laments how she yielded to the request of her son to take part in the illegal mining business because there was nothing for them to feed on. Richard Kojo Nyako is our Central Region correspondent. He has the rest of the story.
The mining pit that collapsed killed 3 persons at Breman in the Upper Dentra West District of the Central Region. 2 of the dead have been identified already, with the 3rd yet to be identified. But the chilling account of 28-year-old Yasantua is one that touches on the extent of helplessness of many rural women. She tears up as she narrates how her son took part in the galamsey and calls for help. Yesterday, he told me that he was going for galamsey, and I told him he should not go. I told him to stop so we could find an alternative means of getting what we would eat. He said, "Ma, you are a nursing mother. I need to fend for you." So he left. I was here when they told me that my son was dead. I have not been able to see the body of my son. My husband is also sick. I have no help from anywhere. I beseech you to help me. The Central Regional Police Command says it has arrested 2 persons in connection with the mining incident. The 2 are currently assisting the police in the investigations. Richard Kojo Nyako, JoyNews, Breman.
That's a touching story, and already some of you are calling in to try and support. Well, the Minerals Commission has since commenced investigations into the matter. The Inspectorate Division says its preliminary investigations indicates that small-scale miners were working illegally at the site, which falls within the prospecting license of Adio Mabas Ghana Limited. This afternoon, we have an update. Owners of the Breman mining site in this area, that is the Upper Dentra West District, have been put before court. The two, Kwekwa Pia and Kofia Pia, have been given a provisional charge of mining without licenses. Our correspondent, Richard Kojonyako, is joining us with more. Hello, Richard. Hello, Richard. Okay, it looks like I've lost Richard Kojonyako, but this is the story, us bringing you back, the story of this 13-year-old whose mother is telling us that he was compelled to go into illegal mining, or if you like, galamsey, because they had nothing to feed on at home. His mother is not well. His father is not. His mother is nursing a child. His father is not well, and so he went out there to try and find some money through the illegal business. Now he happens to be one of 3 people who are dead in a pit when it caved in. Richard is following up for us. He's joining me with some more. Hello, Richard.
Hi, Jesse.
Richard, let's start with the latest updates that we have. We know that some people have been put before court. Kofia Pia, it looks like they are related to each other. Give us more information.
Well, so for now, we don't know whether they are related to each other by blood, but they were put before court today. And so currently, the case was called moments ago, so wait for the outcome, whether they will be remanded or we wait upon what the court would say. And if you go to the site right now, it's been abandoned. The leaders in the community are making sure that no one goes there. These people go to that particular site using pickups, shovels and other tools to dig the earth in order to find some successes of gold or other minerals for their upkeep and all of that. And so it happens that Fabiatu, that young boy, 13 years of age, had to convince the mother to go and find something for the upkeep of the family. This woman is not single mother though. The husband is there, but the husband is sick and has been taken elsewhere for medical attention. So the woman is also nursing another baby. So the boy had to convince the mother that, well, what they would eat that particular day was even going to be a problem. So the mother should allow him to go something, put food on the table,
which she did, and eventually ended in his death. Richard, we're hearing also that people are interested in helping this woman, as she called, she appealed for such help. What can you report on that front?
Well, so many people have been calling. They are even trying to get numbers and money directly to the woman, but the woman has not registered the mobile money line, and so someone sent me 500 Ghana. Other people are also promising they want to get the woman something because the story that the woman told, that they cried upon hearing that, and so they want to help in any other way. And so multimedia would want to bring all of these donations and other things so that we will present to the woman and ensure that it is used for the upkeep of herself and then the sister.
Richard, before we go, we know that this 13-year-old is just one of the 3 people who were found there. I am not sure at the moment what information exists on the other 2, which we know are women. Do we have any information on these other 2, or are the authorities in the area yet to give any further information?
Well, so the other woman is yet to be identified, but one has been identified, and so the family, they came to the police and then the hospital to give them the body for them to go and bury them, but they said that they need to go through some processes in order for them to release the bodies to them. That also includes the body of the 13-year-old. The family came around, went to the hospital, went to get the body back. They said that they had to wait for some time because some processes would have to be exhausted before the bodies would be released to them for burial. And so that is what we do know about the people. One, they are still constantly appealing to the general public that if they are not finding any of their relatives and the person is a female, then they could proceed to the hospital for identification, and then the necessary processes will follow.
All right, so if you live in this neighborhood, what you need to know is that there is still the need to identify the two others who were rescued, or no, who were killed in the mine collapse. In the mine pit collapse, I beg your pardon. Richard, we look forward to hopefully getting some more information on who these other people are, these women or these young women are in this case. Richard, thank you very much.
All right.
Richard Kojonyako is our Central Regional Correspondent with that update there. Very sad ending of the life of a 13-year-old. Relatives of a 50-year-old woman from Mantua in the Ashanti region who needs blood at the Menchia Government Hospital say they risk losing her if she does not get access to blood. The woman on referral from a private health facility has been in need of blood since Wednesday. A sister of the sick woman in dire need said the family is in a fix as they wait upon what they're calling divine intervention. She spoke to a humanitarian of our health desk who has been monitoring the impact of the strike.
Relatives say results from blood samples taken to the laboratory have not returned since Wednesday, as the blood banks remain closed due to the ongoing strike by the laboratory scientists. The labs at the Menchia Government Hospital also remain locked as stranded patients struggle for their services. A sister of the woman in dire need of blood, Yanyako, expressed the family's frustrations.
My sister has been on admission here. She was admitted 3 days ago. My sister is in dire need of blood. The laboratory scientists were supposed to have returned the results yesterday so they can start the transfusion. But we came yesterday only to be told the laboratory scientists are on strike. We are confused as to where we can get her blood. Do the laboratory scientists want to see my sister dead before they return to work?
We know the discomfort that the patients go through.
Responding to the concerns of the family, Ashanti Regional Chairman of the Ghana Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists, Eric Kofiedu, said there's little the striking members can do to save the woman. He suggests the relatives arrange to get the woman transferred to a private facility.
I feel bad to hear her story, but I think that me feeling bad for her should also prompt the government also to resolve this matter once and for all. In fact, it is not a wish, it is not a liking that issues should get this way. If I had my own will, maybe I would have helped her out, but unfortunately the blood bank is locked. The medical soup and the administrator have locked up the place because they feel that once the strike is also on, there's no reason for lab scientists to be around. And so there's nobody around and the offices are all locked. And so in her situation, I wish I could help, but unfortunately, nothing can really happen now. Taking her out of the hospital is an option, but unfortunately, where exactly is she taking her to? Maybe to a private facility who may have the blood to give, but to a public facility, I doubt, because the same lab scientists should be around to help them. Unfortunately, the lab scientists are not there. So maybe the only option now is for her to take her to a private hospital.
But the family say they can no longer afford the cost of private care after a similar adventure at a brim had drained the family.
We have spent so much on her condition ever since we came here. Even then, she's yet to receive optimum care. She insisted we take her home to die or resort to consumption of vegetable to regain blood. But we cannot gamble with her safety. She should be helped as quickly as possible.
From Kumasi, for JoyNews, Ohimintewia reporting.
Well, let's still stay on health. There's some good news because no COVID-19 deaths have been reported in the country in the last 2 weeks, according to statistics from the Ghana Health Service. The service's website indicates 783 as a figure for deaths since the beginning of May. It also shows the number of active cases of the pandemic has fallen to 1,197. Meanwhile, the second phase of the COVID-19 vaccination officially comes to an end today. The process was supposed to have ended on Wednesday, but was extended by 2 days for a mop-up. Joining us on Zoom for a conversation on the back of this is the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kuma Abuaje. Doc, thank you very much for your time. Good afternoon. Hello, Doc. Can you hear me? Okay, it looks like, okay. There you are, Doc. But we can't hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So,
okay,
so the second phase of the vaccination program has ended successfully. How would you rate it so far?
Well, thank you very much. Yes, we rate it as successful. We started with a few challenges as usual. Data entry issues, network issues, and also we started with a new application, which our health workers were trying to build, needed time to be able to get very used to. But subsequently, we've been able to cover so far about 376,000 people have been vaccinated, in excess of the target we have set for Wednesday. By the time we're even extending it, we had done about 98%, 98.5% of the people. The target have been vaccinated. So, yes, one would say we've been successful. We wish we had more vaccines to cover more people, but I believe that time will come.
Okay, so you say 376,000 people have been vaccinated. Was that only for the second phase, or is that the total number of people that were vaccinated?
No, based on the amount, the vaccines available, we have targeted that we do about 360,000 for those who were vaccinated between the 1st of March and the 9th of March.
Right.
And so that's what we have done. But we've been able to exceed it a bit to the number I'm talking about.
Okay, so that's the second phase. So let's round it up, and look at the bigger picture. What percentage of Ghana's population would you say at this point has been fully vaccinated? Will that be the 300? And I mean, that will obviously be the 376. But if you want to report that percentage-wise, what would that be?
Well, we are looking at people who are currently eligible for vaccination. And that will be between the 17 million to about 20 million. We have rounded up to 20 million. And so in the very first single dose, we've given up to about 900,000 people. And those who have had a full vaccination will be about the 376,000 we are talking about. That definitely falls to less than 5% of the people who should be vaccinated. And that is not what we are looking for, but that is what we have based on the current situation. Our whole effort are on to cover as many people as possible as vaccines become available.
Speaking of the availability of the vaccines, we'll go deeper into that. But then let me help us a bit more with some of the side effects that you recorded. When I went to take my jab, what they told me was that if you felt anything within your body, you were to report back to. But not everybody would come back and report to you what side effects they thought they had. And so what did you record in terms of side effects, and to what extent do you think is representative?
I think as part of our communication, we had actually educated people about the possible side effects to expect. Obvious one, the fact that the site of the injection will be painful. Some will have temperature, some will have headaches, some will have body aches. But of course, in a rare event, that's why we don't even talk about side, we talk about adverse events.
Okay.
So that if anything happens to you after vaccination, we still want to know if it's something we are not aware of. But so far, we have reported mainly the common side effects of weakness, headaches, fever, side pain, injection side pain, and a few minor incidents like the earlier one where we actually had some reaction but were restored, resuscitated and restored. Those were very few cases. So we've not had any of the major ones like the clots or anything yet, but we've had more of the There have been other reports of possible adverse events, of which we have to do autopsy to check and confirm that it was unrelated to the vaccination.
Okay, so let's talk about availability, which is something that you mentioned. The ones that we got from Congo, have we, issued all of those?
Well, that was just 350,000. So obviously, it's gone.
It's gone.
And that was 350,000 doses, which we have currently done more than nearly 380,000. So obviously, that is gone. We're just going a bit into some of the few reserves that some of the regions had in stock after the first round. And so that one is finished. But we are still not giving up. We're still working very hard on the vaccine sharing approaches. Unlike Ghana, there are many other African countries who have vaccines who are not able to deploy them. And so I'm sure COVAX and ECOWAS is looking at how do we make sure that we don't let any vaccine expire. And if those things go wrong, we could also be beneficiaries of additional vaccines. But that is just one side. But the main issue that the government is in charge with, private organizations in charge with the vaccine manufacturers, and even bilateral with other countries who may have vaccines, to see how we can also not get for free, even including buying, so that we can actually get vaccinated more people. But I think the media should also help out by educating people about the challenge that globally everybody is facing, accessing vaccines. And so I believe that the effort made so far should be commendable in the fact that there are so many of our colleagues who have not even had a single dose of vaccine. But we continue to work to ensure that we have more vaccines. But in between that, we need to ensure that there are strategies that prevent any escalation of the virus as we have it now. Speaking
of, the challenges that we have, do we have clarity on when the next consignment should be in? I mean, I know this is something that the service has been working on. In fact, we heard that President Akufo-Addo himself has stepped in, helping with the processes. Where are we?
Well, I think this is part of advocacy negotiations and discussions. But for a fact that there's virtually very little vaccine available. But then, so the very little, there's a lot of discussions, a lot of negotiation to make sure you can access any vaccines around the world. And I believe that's what we are doing. But I believe that we will succeed somehow because the effort being put up is quite robust. And coupled with the fact that we are not a country that's likely to waste the vaccine that is given to us. That also puts us in a position that is helpful for us to be able to get some vaccines to work. But there are other arrangements in between to see other vaccines that are available. We are also having to try to ensure participate in vaccine trials, because that's how other countries have been able to access vaccines. And so those are areas that we expect that when we get there, the media also be our allies to ensure that by participating in vaccine trial is safe, but also as a way of contributing to the global good of the world and also we benefiting from the vaccination.
Speaking about clinical trials, the last time I spoke to the Director General of the Ghana Standards Authority, who himself is a vaccine expert, was talking about how Ghana seemed to have gained a certain reputation about being anti-receptive to clinical trials because people will complain and say we are being used as guinea pigs, etc. Do people still feel attracted? Vaccine producers still feel attracted to coming to places like this from your engagement so far?
Oh yeah, there have been a few requests, and that is going to happen. I'm sure we might participate in some soon. But we must also educate people that phase 3 trial is not the stage where, it's gone through several stages. So there's some level of safety in that area. And also, whatever they are doing, our own conditions, our own nuances must be part of whatever decisions are made. And so that will mean that how do Ghanaians react to this vaccine? Do we react better or we don't react to it? All these are important information that we need to look at. And it also helps us to ensure that as we are participating, we are also more likely to be beneficiaries of these vaccines if they become available. And you see many countries like Chile and others who have had a lot of vaccines, but they participated in clinical trials. These are phase 3 trials. And I think it is something that the media should also disabuse people's mind about this issue of guinea pigs. It's not a guinea pig, it's a well-researched, and a lot of safety mechanisms are put in place for all of us to contribute to ensure that as we get vaccine to give to our children and ourselves, to try somewhere, we can also be part of the global community to participate in this important study that benefits everybody.
And that's one of the things that India did. India, became one of the places where some of these, clinical trials, has taken place. So we have the vaccine coming from there. But we have seen what is happening in India that is affecting the Serum Institute's ability to fulfill its commitment to the COVAX. Do we stand any more chances? Are conversations going on right now? Because what's happening in India is it's really bad, to be honest.
Well, I think the other aspect of what you are talking about is the fact that because India participated and India is producing vaccine, that's why they were able to lock up all the vaccine they are producing for their people. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So it is not the lack of vaccine or availability of vaccine that caused whatever is there, but at least when they had the outbreak, they had vaccine to fall back on. And so I think that's what we need to look at. But the last statement that came out, the fact that they are going to ramp up production and that by October, they may start exporting vaccines. And so, but I don't think Ghana is just waiting for just that stock alone, but we're also looking at other. COVAX is still promised that maybe June, July, August, they might release some vaccines. And so we are all looking at all those things.
So we'll keep October.
But in between, we must, as a matter of the most important is that we do not make the virus escalate. And so our protocols and also these strategies, even the latest vaccine we have, that allows us to be able to contain the virus.
Okay. Speaking about the other options available, we know that we were also looking at Sputnik. We know that we've received some of them already. And I heard that we're also considering Johnson & Johnson. Can you take us through where we are with these other options? And the Sputnik jabs that we received, what happened to them?
Well, they'll be deployed very soon. As part of our rollout, they will be deployed. But that was just a small quantity that came in. We're hoping that the bigger quantity will be delivered, and then we'll also move to the next stage. We, as part of the AU package, is where we also have some promise of Johnson & Johnson. Nobody is very certain when the AU is going to, as part of the African Medicines Platform, release their vaccine. But for us as a country, we are using taking advantage of all options to see how we can get vaccines. And I can't give you dates.
Okay.
And but I believe that we should get some, and we're still standing by the fact that by the end of the year, we should be able to meet the target that we set.
I can understand, and I mean, Ghanaians will understand your inability to give us dates. We can see what's happening around the world and with this vaccine situation. But Sputnik, give us a bit of clarity. How many do we have, and who are you targeting for this deployment for the Sputnik vaccines?
Well, I mean, those are discussions. I think we just have about 10,000 pairs. That was in, and we have to look at our options in terms of our deployment plan and see which part of it is plugging. We already have a deployment plan for the 4 phases, and we are still doing the phases irrespective of the type of vaccine we have. And so we're going to use the same deployment plan as we have to deploy whatever the vaccine we have, whether it's AstraZeneca, whether it's Johnson & Johnson. It's going to be the same deployment plan. And we are still in the phase 1 deployment plan.
Okay. Well, I guess that with time we'll gain some more clarity on who exactly you want to, give the Sputnik.
Okay, the phase 1 is people who are vulnerable, we also have geographical hotspots in the country. And that is what we still doing. The first 900,000 who received their first dose are yet to get, about half of them, about 500,000 of them are yet to get their second dose. So it's still within that cohort that the current phase still reside. And so that's what I'm trying to say, that the same plan, whether irrespective of the type of vaccine we have, that will go into that plan.
Okay. I just wanted to go on to talk about the vaccination and the fact that now we know, I mean, at least about 370,000 people have been fully vaccinated. Does that mean that these people can stop wearing the mask, seeing as that is what communication we're getting from the CDC in the United States of America, for example? If not, how soon can you, sort of relax on the wearing of masks?
Okay, let me give you the condition under which we'll be able to stop wearing masks. Currently, there's no vaccine that gives you 100% cover. I'm sure you have probably had your 2 doses as well.
I have.
But it gives you probably up to about 90% coverage, which means that 10% of that you could get the virus.
Okay.
Your other additional protection that you may not get sick because you are vaccinated. And that obviously you will probably not die from it. But that doesn't mean that you cannot, those who have had it cannot transmit. But since over 90% of the population are yet to be vaccinated, your risk is a risk to everybody. So that 10%, you can give it to somebody because you feel you are vaccinated, you are protected, you stop wearing your mask and you transfer to somebody else. That becomes another way of flaring up. So that's why until a significant number of population are vaccinated, then we can look at the figures and that they are actually stable. You will still have to continue, everybody has to continue wearing their mask.
Okay, let's talk about the testing regime at the airport. We know that people are still traveling in, and the possibility that they're bringing in whatever it is from wherever they're coming from is also high. It looks as if with the vaccination, people seem to be relaxing their, relaxing their guards, etc. You have recently gone there to the airport to check on the testing regime there. Bring us up to speed on what has changed, if at all.
Well, not much has changed. The same system that was established in terms of arrival to have your declaration, travel declaration done. You go in and have your sample taken, you are tested, you go down, your test results are checked, your PCR negative results you should have had before and planning to Ghana is checked. If you are negative, you are given the necessary advice on how to protect yourself. If you are negative, if you are positive, you are now sent to an isolation center, either in a hotel or a treatment center, depending on your situation. If you are sick, you go to a treatment center. If you are not sick, you are put in an isolation center or in a hotel where you observe for a number of days, and you repeat test, and you are discharged. The system has improved, even better, more efficient, and the delays are seriously controlled. And those are those who are kept in the holding room when they are positive are refreshed and they are quickly transported to where they are supposed to reside. So that's what is happening. So the system is still there, and I think it still remains a very good support for the country as far as reducing importation of the virus into the country is concerned. As you have seen, when there is an outbreak outside the countries where they are coming to Ghana, you see the spike. When there's no outbreak out there, you see that the numbers also come down. And so it serves as a good safety net for us as a country.
So, and that's something that I was going to talk about next, which is our case count. But let's just look at the countries that are allowed into Ghana, for example. Is India, are we still allowing visits or travels from India into Ghana?
We have not banned any country from coming to Ghana. We have given a travel advice for Ghanaians traveling to ensure that these are areas, hotspots that you don't go to. But incidentally, the Indian government has virtually stopped people from traveling outside. Most of the airlines that used to go there are probably not going there. So you are not getting so many cases from there. But what we have is that we have some hotspots country that as and when we look at that, once they come in, we test negative because we have a two-stage testing. A lot of those people are eliminated either even before they're plane because you do a test and you are positive and so you can't travel. And when you get here, you are positive, you are detained. If you are negative, you are allowed to go in. But for those who are coming from hotspots, which may change today, maybe a different country tomorrow, then we'll do a follow-up on you. Ask all of you to self-isolate, even those who are negative from even countries where there's no risk. We are still advised to self-isolate if it's possible. And then for those who are coming from hospitals, some of them may be followed up to do an additional test on the third or fourth day to see their status. And we give them calls to monitor their health to ensure that they are not changed and that we are able to quickly isolate them if we need to. Because of the way the virus, it can be negative today, but tomorrow it will be positive. And so we continue following them.
There are discussions in Europe and other parts of the world of a vaccine passport. Does it matter whether the people who are coming in Ghana are fully vaccinated, or it doesn't matter? We'll still go through the same processes that you mentioned anyway.
I think there's a lot of discussions on that. Some agree, some disagree. But I believe one day there'll be, the same way we have a yellow fever card, there'll be a card that we'll have to verify. And that is why our vaccination card takes cognizance of the fact that it can be verified. And so that's why we have put a QR code at the back so that even before a specific vaccination card comes out, because of that, you can also, once they scan your QR code, they'll be able to see whether it takes them into a database to see whether you are fully vaccinated, the batch numbers you took, etc. And that is why the preparation was done to ensure that should that come in, we have a database to feed into the world for any Ghanaian who is vaccinated to be verified.
Doc, let's wrap up with our case count at the moment. We're seeing some very good results. So far, our cases have seen a significant drop. Let's help us, just go through with us if you have the figures available to you at the moment, and then we can talk about why we're seeing this.
Yeah, but as you know, I think we've had, let's just brief you on where we are currently. Currently, we have an active case of 1,138, 784 deaths. Our severe cases still remain about 18, with critical who are 6. So in the last few weeks, we've been reporting relatively low figures. I think 2 days ago, we had 12 from Greater Accra. The latest one, we have 22 cases from Greater Accra, and then a total count across the country of 52. And most of them are coming from Central Region, reported 13, and Greater Accra 22. Then we have 10 from Eastern Region. So these are all sporadic spikes that are currently ongoing. So the numbers are relatively good now, but doesn't mean that we should just relax. It means that we need to continue doing what we are doing and even do more. Wear our masks and do the social distancing and avoid crowding. So that's where, in summary, our figures really are. Accra still remains the region with always reporting the highest number of cases.
Are we still testing as much as we were when we started?
Our testing policy remains the same. Is that anybody who shows signs and symptoms of that, or anybody who is exposed to anybody who is positive, is tested. So if I'm positive, all my contacts will be tested, and those who come in with some signs and symptoms will be tested. And so that is what the same policy regime that was giving us 800 a day is the same policy we are applying today. And so if the numbers are low, you have to do fewer tests. If the numbers are more, 2 days ago, we have 23 positives. Now, if you have 52 and you have an average of about 7 or 8 contacts per person, that will translate to a total number of tests that will be done.
Wow.
And we still continue testing people who are traveling out of the country. Anyway.
Okay. Well, Doc, it's been quite insightful, and a number of minutes as well I've taken from you. Let's not take any more, but give us takeaways. What should those who have listened to this conversation take away from them from here, apart from continuing to wear your mask and observe the protocols, even if you are fully vaccinated?
Just to let people know that they should not be confused by anybody about vaccine hesitancy. As we realize that when a lot of people in Accra are vaccinated, you can see the difference that's made. And so vaccine remains an important aspect of it. Apart from all that, let's avoid crowding. Let us continue abide, even though we don't want to talk about it, but that's the most important message, the fact that the protocol must be respected. And anytime you have any symptoms or signs, please don't forget to go around and have yourself checked. And then avoid crowding, and there are many things that we've learned. And I think people are applying a lot of the rules, sanitizer, hygiene is improving, and I think we should continue, and then we'll continue to ensure that we can all stay safe. And we're doing our best to make sure that more vaccines are brought in and more people will be protected.
And Ghanaians are looking forward to hearing more of some specific dates. I know it's hard for the entire world, but hopefully we get close to those dates. Doc, I did say this would have been the end, but I just remembered something about the countries you mentioned, that there are some African countries which seem to have vaccines that are not being used. Do we know which these countries are, and whether Ghana can take advantage? Since we have people who are ready to take the vaccine, can we take advantage of that?
Oh, well, I think these are a global issue. These are sub-regional issues. And so there's some discussion to see what you can use, what you cannot use. It's the same principle that allow DR Congo vaccine to be moved to Ghana and other countries. That's what we are. That's all that's going on. I'm sure around us in the West Coast, there are countries that have vaccines that I'm not sure whether it's the right thing for me to release that on this platform. But they know, and there's a lot of ECOWAS on the beat trying to make discussion to ensure that because vaccines are not available in the world, no vaccine should be allowed to expire. And I believe that when things happen, just like where the DR Congo, where they will come from, they'll be pooled and then probably redistributed for those who can use it to use.
Doc, thank you very much for your time. Good afternoon. Dr. Patrick Kumar Boaje is the Director General of the Ghana Health Service. Now, the results of a new clinical trial published in the New England Journal of Medicine show that immediate kangaroo mother care, which involves skin-to-skin contact with the mother and exclusive breastfeeding, started as soon as preterm or low birth weight baby is born, dramatically improves survival. Current World Health Organization recommendations indicate starting kangaroo mother care only after the baby is stabilized in an incubator or warmer, which can take an average of 3 to 7 days. The new study suggests that when compared with the existing practice, starting kangaroo mother care immediately after birth can save up to 150,000 more lives each year. Love FM's Kwesi Debra has been speaking with the Ghanaian collaborators in this study.
The study planned to include 4,200 infants, but it was stopped early due to clear evidence of benefit on survival. The School of Public Health, KNUST, and the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital were part of this study.
My name is Dr. Jikua Planjul. I'm the head of the mother-baby unit at the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital, and I'm also a lecturer in the School of Medicine and Dentistry. The whole idea of kangaroo mother care came about probably 10, 15 years ago. It actually began in a hospital where they didn't have power, and so they decided to put the babies. It was a hospital in South America, and they decided to put the babies close to the mothers, under their, close to the skin to keep them warm. And they suddenly found that, these babies were surviving. The survival was amazing, and so we began to realize that there was something about putting a baby next to his mother's skin which worked some miracle and caused them to live. And it certainly wasn't just about warmth. So, over the years, lots and lots of research has been done, and it's been found that putting babies in skin-to-skin contact with their mothers, the baby is naked, is put against the mother's bare chest, somehow makes them live. And so it became the norm, it became the practice. There was lots and lots of research done, and it became the practice all over the world. That's part of the care of the very small baby, the baby who was born too soon or born too small, was to put him next to his mother's skin. But initially, the recommendation was when the baby is born, wait for a few days. When the baby is 2, 3, 4 days old and he's stable, breathing properly, then you can begin putting him in the mother's skin. And as I said, the results were so dramatic. The babies did so well, they could breathe better, their heart rates were better, they had better temperatures, so many things. So then the question came up. But of course, in the first 3, 4 days, whilst we were waiting for these babies to be stable before we would start putting them in skin-to-skin contact, a lot of them died. And so the big question was, if this skin-to-skin way of keeping babies in skin-to-skin contact works such wonders, what would happen if we started earlier? So essentially this study that has been published today was to answer the question, if this is such a good intervention, if we were to start even earlier, in other words, immediately after birth, the baby comes out and then goes into skin-to-skin and stays there as long as possible, would we have an even better outcome? So essentially, the study that was published today in the New England Journal of Medicine was designed to answer that question.
My name is Professor Sam Newton, and I'm the head of the team which organized the study, and I'm also the acting dean of the School of Public Health. What was interesting about this study is these babies were very tiny, and initially we were wondering whether it would work. It was like a proof of concept to see whether if you put very tiny babies close to their mother's chest soon after birth, whether they would do better than when we wait till they are stabilized. And the results showed clearly that they do much better. The bonding is there, and for reasons which are not too clear to us, babies which you would think would not survive actually do better. So it's a good day for us. Now we know that the apprehension which people had about this intervention, seeing that the results have come out in a reputable journal showing that there is much less death or mortality in these children, will be scaled up. And then, of course, it will only be in countries, in developing countries like ours, but also in other developed countries would also take up this intervention, which would really help to save a lot of newborn lives who would otherwise have died.
Reporting for JoyNews, Kwesi Deborah.
Certainly an easier and well with that, it doesn't come with a cost, a way of saving our babies. You're watching The Pulse with me, Gifty and up here. We'll be right back to tell you more about baby stories. Rather bizarre what I have to tell you when I return. But do stay. Well, that's an 11-month-old baby who you heard crying there, who has died after she was allegedly mistreated by the woman you see in the video, a 54-year-old caregiver. Her name is Clara Anyani Ampa, who is now a suspect. She was picked up after management of the Happy Bloomers Creche at Agbogba made available this surveillance video fitted in the room where the disturbing act took place to the police. Allegra Yaba Akamensa was pronounced dead at the North Legon Hospital, where managers of the creche rushed her. Subsequently, the parent of the victim lodged a complaint of the circumstances. Now, that video you see there, we've had to shorten it because just after it ends here, she goes into the room and subsequently returns, and it looks as if she had tried to give the baby some food in the cup, and the baby had poured it over. So she comes back, she cleans it up. She goes in there, she comes back, she cleans it up, and then she comes back with a cup of food, and she tries to force it down the baby's throat. She holds the baby's hands behind the baby and force feeds her, essentially pushing the baby's face into the cup. The baby is screaming, obviously suffocating, and subsequently was taken to the hospital but died. DSP Fiatenge speaks for the Accra Police and his Accra Region Police, and she's joining us with details of what has happened. Thank you very much for your time, DSP Fiatenge. Please give us an update of this case.
Yes, thank you very much, DSP. This morning, the Aboko Police and the lady, that is the suspect in this case, they put the lady before court this morning, and she has been remanded into police custody until the 11th of June when she reappears. Again, the police has also forwarded the docket involving this very disturbing act to the Attorney General for advice on how to go about this case. So that is the update the police can give now.
I'm sure you yourself a mother. I'm not sure that you have seen the video. It's very difficult for anybody to watch. A lot of people find it very difficult to. I personally have not been able to watch through and through. My colleagues in the newsroom have not as well. But this is certainly, as police, a story that may be familiar to you. Is it? What do you say?
This is well. Let me get the last part of your question.
I'm actually just trying to have a conversation with you as a female officer. I assume that this is a story that you may have come across a few times. Does it happen a lot in your practice?
Yes, in fact, some of us, we watched this video yesterday and we could not sleep until this morning. It is actually very horrific, very terrifying to some of us. The extent that we could not complete the video. We hear of some of these cases were in other parts of maybe Africa, but to realize that it happened here in our backyard, it is quite worrying. We know that sometimes while we receive reports of children being abused and whatnot, I think it is for one of these reasons why the schools in particular have to do some installation so that they could monitor activities of caregivers who have been employed to take care of children. But to see the manner increase, very vulnerable, innocent child has gone through the hand of the Lady Clara is quite very disturbing. For us as a law enforcement agency, we will do what we have to do per the law. And as I indicated, we will do proper investigations into it. And even the autopsy of the child has already been done. And so we are on the right track. We will also wait for the agency to study the docket based on all available facts that we have been able to gather. And then they will advise the police on the next line of action to take.
Okay.
But it is really worrying.
Yeah. I will end this conversation by asking you for some kind of advice for parents. I mean, life in Accra, life everywhere is hard, and people some way somehow have to look for people to take care of their children. We'll end the conversation with that. But just a quick one. She was on what charges was she taken to court today? Is that information available now?
Yes, we preferred Cotton House to the suspect. And one a life has been lost in this case. Any case involving the death of a human being, we need to forward the docket to the case. So that is why the police has forwarded the docket to the case. The police is there a charge of causing harm for the suspect case.
Okay. And the autopsy that you said has been conducted, do we have details of how this baby died?
Yes, we done the autopsy. And then usually the outcome of the autopsy is given to the family. And secondly, it is also for police to do proper or to help us prosecute the case. So for that one, it is not so good for public consumption. But I can assure you that autopsy on that case has been received, it has been done, and the report has been received. And that has also been included in the fact that added for AG to study all that and advise that. But it is not so appropriate that put the outcome of the autopsy report to the public domain.
Very well understood. We'll wait and see what the AG's advice is. But let's take the police's advice. Like I said, and we had this conversation among my colleagues today about how important it is to get somebody to take care of your children, because you have to work and because you have other commitments as well. Of course, our children are our priority, but some way, somehow, we have to leave them. What advice can you give from, your experience with some of these cases, etc., to parents? Yes, I'm asking for...
Hello?
Yes. Can you hear me, DSP Fiatenge? Yes.
Hello?
I do hear you.
Yes, it's better.
Okay.
Were you asking a question?
Yes, I was wrapping up our conversation with some sort of advice, and I was saying that it's imperative for us to, look for people to take care of our children, because life happens and we have to move on and go and work, etc. Even though children are our priorities, we can't always be there. What advice can you give in terms of protecting them and the security of our children?
Yes, therefore, the advice, I think that there is no love like that of the mother. And as a woman, I would have wished that women stay, especially nursing mothers, stay at home and take care of their own children. Because I am not sure nowadays you can trust who you leave your children with. We've had a number of disturbing issues, and even sometimes some of them are even caused by the mothers themselves. So this is not only to say that, yes, it is only people who are caregivers that sometimes maltreat children. But looking at how life is now, women are in the working to make sure that they earn something. And it is very difficult to say that you want to stay at home without going to work. So maybe, first of all, some of these installation of the CCTV, where periodically we can monitor the activities of our caregivers wherever we are, not necessarily taking them and coming back to watch them, but rather intermittently a system where wherever we are, we'll be able to open what is happening within our home or wherever the children are, and also watch what is going on. I've also come across institutions where they have established kind of a daycare right in the offices, where mothers come to work with their children, and they bring their children to school then at the daycare there, so that from time to time they'll be able to check on their children. Then again, sometimes we also need to also listen to the instincts. Sometimes children do their some education. Sometimes we are sending children somewhere, and you can see that some of them will be crying, telling us that they do not want to go. They are not comfortable with these persons, but probably they will not be able to say them, voice them out by hearing. Some of these things must also be taken care of.
Okay.
Then I also plead with management and also some of our employers, that if there's anything that concerns our children, if our children are not safe, we are equally not safe, and we can equally not also be at peace in our places of work. And so if there are any issues concerning our children, I think that we should be given the permission to be able to go and attend to them, and not think or assume that we are trying to come up with plenty excuses to be able to stay out of work. Because it is very, very important that we extend love and care to the very children that God has blessed us. Because some of these things are very disturbing. Then the people we also recruit, the people we employ to take care of our children, please, if we get referral, it is also important. Sometimes some of these people, they are frustrated. So they bring their frustration, they vent their anger on the children. And so some of these things must also be looked at. And just make sure. There are times when people have actually gone to the extent of employing two people, like two caregivers for the children, so that it doesn't look like one person is doing so.
It's overwhelmed.
We can do it ourselves. But once we are not there, we should make sure that we create the living environment. Because taking care of children as a mother is not even easy by yourself. How much somebody who did not give birth to that child. So if we are doing so, sometimes let us not look at the cost, but we can also employ one or two people so that one keeps an eye on what the other is doing, and also the person that's already does not become overwhelmed of the stress that usually come along with taking care of a child, because it is not easy, it is not child's play, and we should be able to support each other so that we can get out of it.
That's a very comprehensive advice, I must say. A bit more beyond policing advice, I must say, but very good one. This is a very sad story, and I hope that we'll get to the bottom of this and wish the family strength so that they can deal with this as well. But DSP, if you think just a quick one before you go, what are the possibilities, or what possible sanctions will there be looking at the charge upon which she was taken to court today? What are the sanctions in the law?
Yes, if you look at that is the section 69, which is the causing harm, which the police prefer. That one alone is a second-degree felony, and I believe that the lawyers can help us on the possible penalties or sentences that a person who commits such a crime would be given. And for now, I think that when they do the proper study of the docket, all these also come, the proper direction on how it will come. But if you look at the corporate harm, then it means that the second-degree felony, it comes with its own punishment.
Okay. Thank you very much, DSP Fiatenge. DSP Fiatenge, she speaks for the Accra Region Police. So, the lady in question in that video that you saw is the caretaker at a crèche where a baby, the baby sitting right here in this chair, this baby chair, has died. She died after she was taken to the hospital. She was pronounced dead on arrival. She, as you can see here, there has been charged with causing harm right now, but the docket has been forwarded to the Attorney General's for advice as we go along. She's been remanded in police custody. Now, spare parts dealers at Abosokai say they will resist any attempt by government to relocate them from their present location. Greater Accra Region Minister Henry Quartey disclosed on our sister station Adom FM this week that plans are far advanced to relocate the dealers to Afienya. According to the minister, discussions have been had with dealers of the spare parts traders, adding that a spare parts village will be constructed for the purpose of decongesting their current trading hubs and also to create more job opportunities. But today, the traders say unless government uses bulldozers to force them out, they are not moving. Kwekwa Sante has more.
Accra Regional Minister Henry Quartey says this forms part of his Make Accra Great agenda in terms of ridding the city of filth and congestion. The plan is to move the spare parts dealers in Kokompe to Anya Sotium and then the ones at Abosokai to Afienya in Tema. We met the Kokompe and Abosiokai spare parts dealers. Originally, the plan at Kokompe was to do just a cleanup, but they voluntarily said they wanted to move. We have a 60-acre land at Anyaso Otium prepared by President Kufuor, so we will move them there.
15 acres free, so voluntarily. We met with Abosiokai.
And then we met the Abosiokai dealers. They also said they need more space and would want to relocate. We are currently talking to them, but we are likely to move them to Afienya because of the proximity to the harbor.
We are likely to take them to Afienya.
Afienya?
Yes, because of the proximity to a harbor.
But today, the spare parts dealers at Abosiokai say they will reject any attempt to relocate them.
Abosiokai is not a government land. It's an individual properties. And I am on fire shops. So say problem roadway and I congested in Tina here to me. I'm offering to employer. What is the solution to the problem? The solution is clear for everybody to see. What you say because of the Nuntu clear Abosiokai to Afienya? Is it a joke or is it why?
For me, I would say it's not a good idea in the first place because come to think of directors who have invested so much in building stores and doing such investments entails a lot. That means they put in a lot of money and giving it to traders to rent to do business. So the minister saying he's moving traders to Afienya is something which I think it won't work. Yes, 100% this is going to affect business because you see a whole lot of people know this place as a very good business center where people travel from far and near to come and trade here. So moving business from this place to Afienya is going to be a different in which it will affect business in a drastic way.
Aboso campaign for the DC minister no enya no kreda enya de ye be free na free achina na no kre no won kan kire no on ko gugu na on kro no say na say no on di pebibi dia enya no kre nya de obi abeko because ye han free crofo on sisi adan no na ye han free on.
Kwekwa Sante filed that report, and you heard from the spare parts dealers themselves. Let's speak to the PRO for the Spare Parts Dealers Association, Clement Boateng. Hello, Mr. Boateng. Good afternoon, and thank you for your time. You, as leadership of the association, we are told, have agreed to move to Afienya. Is this correct?
Yeah, good afternoon, and thank you for having me. But let me correct you on my designation. I am not a PRO. I'm a co-chairman of the association.
Sorry and thank you. Co-chair of the
co-chair, yes.
association.
I'm a co-chairman, yes, of the association.
Please go ahead. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you for having me. Good afternoon to your listeners. First of all, I want to correct the wrong reportage which is going on in the air that it is the regional minister who is forcing us to relocate from Abosiokai here. That is a palpable false and it's a misinformation that is being churned out to the public. Now, this relocation project that we are talking about is something which has been on the drawing board for a very long time. Even in the administration of the former government, which was led by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, there was a talk about this relocation. And during that time, they even proposed a land just behind the trade fair site. But it's only that, we didn't act on it until the government was changed. So in the run-up to the 2020 elections, the current president embarked on a tour, and as part of the tour, he visited us in Abosiokai here. And as part of our problems that we put, before him was a part of relocation. So then he told us that if by God's grace he assumed power in his second term, he will do something about it. Because
so help me to get this clear, Mr. Boateng. You say that the relocation was a request by the members of the Spare Parts Dealers Association.
Absolutely, absolutely. It is not the regional minister who is forcing us, to relocate. It's a request that we put before the president.
Okay.
Did you have when this regional minister assumed office as part of his drive, to decongest Accra and make Accra clean, he started engaging market people as well as various associations. And as part of the engagement that we had, with him, we put forward this relocation before him because we had already put that request before the president.
Was Afienya the location you wanted to be relocated to?
No, in the first place, it's a request that we put. So it is incumbent on the government, to find a place for us because we didn't know where government, will allocate the land to.
But if you wanted a relocation yourself, then you would have had in mind there will be a reason why you don't want to be where you are, and you would have in mind where you want to be. Was that not on the table when you approached
the reasons that we don't want to be where we are numerous. One, if you yourself have come to Abossey here, you will see that the place is very congested, and that it is creating an inconvenience for our customers to come here and patronize our goods. So if you come here, you come and sit here the whole day, you don't buy anything, you sit here and then you go home with an empty pocket. And if you come here, you see that people are selling on the street, people are repairing cars here, and the whole place is congested. So people don't find it convenient, to come here. And that is the more reason why we put that proposal before government. And the place that they intended, to the project that they intended to put up there is a multi-purpose, it's a modern, ultra-modern spare parts, market, which will include even workshops.
Mr. Boateng, the situation, I think that the issue right now is where to go and the relocation itself. So we're done with the relocation. You say it is not being imposed on you. You wanted it yourself. But where did you have in mind as the next place you wanted to be located?
Well, like I was telling you, it is a proposal that we put before government because the government, owns a lot of lands. We don't, have any land in mind, and that is the more reason why we put it before government so that government, could look at somewhere and then allocate, that place to us.
So Afienya is a proposal by the government to you.
Yes, Afienya is a proposal, and then Dawinya is a proposal, and even I think about 2 or 3 days ago, they even proposed Amasaman to us. So it is incumbent on us to have a look at all these places and then choose where we think will be appropriate for us.
Have you chosen a place yet?
No, we are yet to pay a visit, to those proposed areas. So that if we pay a visit to those proposed areas and then we see that this place will be convenient to us, then we can, choose that place.
Your members don't seem to be happy about going to Afienya. Are you aware?
Yes, you see, when your reporter came here, I don't know the sort of people that they spoke to them because we as executives, cannot do anything on our own. So when these proposals come, or when this stakeholder engagement came, we even convened a general meeting which was held about a month ago, and we put all these things before our members, and they all agreed.
They agreed. So the thing is that probably not everybody agreed, but when we, as reporters, when we go on the ground, we talk to random people, and that's what he did. Well, that's what the reporter did.
It's not everything that you are doing that you get 100% efficiency.
Of course,
if you are doing something and you get about 70%,
hang on, Mr. Boateng, hang on. You said that you don't know the kind of people that our reporter spoke to, and I'm just letting you know how we do our work. Is that we go out there, we talk to random people, and so of course, so these are people who are your members as well, who do not, who do not agree with going to Afienya. It looks as if there is a disconnect between the leadership and some of the members. Do you agree to this position?
That is the reason why I'm saying to you that it is not everything that you do that you get 100% efficiency. But if you do something and you are able to achieve maybe between 60 to 70, I think it will be okay. It is not every policy that even when government sends it out, it will go to the benefit of other people. But once about 60-70%, agree, definitely we must carry it on. And this project that we are yet to embark on is a long-term project. It is not something that we are going to say maybe tomorrow, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months time, we are moving you people to that place. Okay. Because now that the place is even going to be constructed, and it should take a long time.
Very well understood.
It will take a long time. So if we are doing something which will benefit about 60 to 70% people, I think it is in the right direction.
Well, I think currently, go ahead, make your point. Let me comment.
Currently, you see, people who are making the noise here. Well, I don't know, but I may suspect it to be those who have properties here, and they are doing. Okay,
so the point that they made is that they're saying that some of them are saying they have rented the spaces, and so they've paid money, so they're concerned about having to pay money.
You paid money, but we cannot continue to sit here and always be paying 60,000 every 5 years. This is a project as a one-time period, and you pay it on the thing forever.
Okay. Maybe they don't have these. Maybe all of your members do not have the benefits of this information.
That is what I'm saying. That when the general meeting was convened, well, not everybody attended the meeting. So we will continue to engage them, explain matters to them. So I am sure at the end of it all, they will understand.
Okay. Between the places you have heard, hopefully this will be my final question. The Afienya, Dawenya, and Amasama. I know Afienya, I know Dawenya. These are places that you have to be in a lot of traffic to get to. I'm not sure about the route to Amasama, but which of these places do you think will work very well for spare parts dealers to be located?
Because the minister thought we do most of our clearing from Tema. That was the more reason why maybe he proposed or he thinks if you go to Dawenya or Afienya, since it is close to Tema, it will be of a benefit to us. But we think Amasama is also closer to us. So as I told you, we are yet to embark on a visit to all the sites. So at the end of it all, I think we will decide the place that we think it will be appropriate for us.
Mr. Boateng, I say a very big thanks to you. I wish you all the best as you go back to engage your people and get them to understand this in a more understandable way. Hopefully it works out if that's what you desire. Thank you for your time. Clement Boateng there, he is co-chair of the Spare Parts Dealers Association. Now, the Ghana Education Service is today rallying the support of parents to fully embrace the free SHS policy despite recent challenges. GES says it will address issues of inadequate space for students, but insists academic work has not been hampered by the policy. The double-track system that is set to ensure that there is more space for students through an arrangement that sees students grouped to ensure multiple use of same facilities at different times has been heavily criticized. The Ghana Education Service, however, argues contact hours have been increased aside from ensuring that thousands receive education. Dr. Kwabena Tando is Deputy Director General in charge of quality and access at the Ghana Education Service.
In the double-track semester system, the students are in school for 8 months. In the trimester system, they were in school for 8 months and 2 weeks. We have established those facts based on public records and evidence of timetables and academic calendars. Now, when we were introducing the double-track, we also sat down with NACA, which is the Authority on Curriculum Delivery, design and the application of curriculum. And we knew that in senior high school, you could increase the contact hours per day to 7 hours a day. So we increased the contact hours to 7 hours per day instead of 6 hours in our old semester. Now, 8 months, it calculated to 162 days of teaching instead of 180. Now multiply your 162 days by your 7 hours a day, and already, even though we have reduced by an insignificant 2 weeks of time, we had increased our contact hours from 1,080 in the old system to 1,134 per academic year for any student using the semester and the double-track system. Contact hours is what we all need to be thinking about. Now,
Dr. Tando there. The Forestry Commission is rallying Ghanaians to get involved in the national tree planting exercise aimed at greening the country. The Commission has kick-started the initiative and hoping to have more than 1 million trees planted on June 11 when Ghana, the country, marks a Green Ghana Day. Upon Sasu, the executive director of the Forest Service Division, told journalists in Accra yesterday that the initiative will transform the country's environment.
We've lost most of our forest. We have started planting because once we lose the forest, then we will have to plant back. So we started some time ago planting some trees. We've planted over 400,000 hectares. We are nurturing them, and this one also comes as a program that is going to help us plant more trees. So we will plant the trees as usual, but this one with special emphasis on the June 11 one.
Irene Wilson, the division manager for the Greater Accra region, said the interest from people in this initiative has already been impressive.
Stepped up production. I remember I went to church and I announced that we have seedlings and we are supplying seedlings for free. The people who thronged around me, I had to run away because of the COVID. So I can see that people are very much interested in planting trees. So maybe after this year's program, we will find other strategies to continue how people have become interested in it.
Certainly, tree planting should be exciting to all of us. Let's save our environment. Let's do sports after this. All right, before we go, Presec Legon and Fancy Pim School and Archbishop Porter Girls have already won titles as regional winners of the Science and Maths Quiz. The countdown is on to crown Science and Maths Quiz champions for the Volta and OT regions as 18 schools battle for the trophy later today. Meanwhile, 2 second-year students of the Bishop Herman College who led their school to qualify for the national competition say their level on the educational ladder does not matter on stage, as they advise NSMQ big names to come to the main October quiz adequately prepared. Let's go live with Maxwell Agbagba right now.
Okay, tell me, what has been your secret, Sunrise?
There is no secret, but as the name implies, sunrise, we always grow in the sun. Therefore, if you see us, you don't expect us to go down, but always to rise and fly with the eagles. Thank you.
Okay. So what should we expect in the main competition in October?
We expect to do very well and take the trophy back, and take the first trophy of them, and take the trophy that's for the first Volta Regional Championship in NSMQ.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. So that's it. Sunrise Senior High School, they've actually qualified for the semi-finals of the Volta Regional Championship. Now remember, the Volta OT Region Championship is actually the search for the school which is not the best when it comes to science and maths here in the Volta region. Well, what is happening now is that we have contestants from Ola Girls SHS, Ho St. Paul's SHS, and then in Quanta SHS. They are going to take part in the last contest. That should start just within some minutes. But some shocking results we've had here today. One of the schools, one of the big names when it comes to the NSMQ, Bishop Herman College, they qualified here to the national championship, but disappointingly they crashed this afternoon. They had 13 points in their contest. Jojo Penyi SHS had 28 points, Awudome had 25 points, EPC Mauko Girls had 23 points, and then Biheko, the good old Biheko, they had 13 points. So they are out of the regional championship, but they are still in the national competition, which will take place in October. Another shocking news that we received today was actually Sugakope SHS, Burman, and then Anglo SHS and Mary SHS. Sugakope SHS actually qualified And then Katasco, they did magic here just some hours ago. In fact, they won with the highest points that we've ever seen, 73 points here, the highest points that we've seen here in the Volta and OT regions. And they say that it's going to continue to the nationals. So that's what has been happening here at the Nat Hall.
Okay, so Max Olagbagba there with people who are repping their school. I want to talk to you about repping your jersey, right? And that's going to happen tomorrow. I've got somebody here in the studio who will talk to us about it. I don't know, I'm sure you follow Rep Your Jersey, right? You know. All right, I have Prince Jega, who is the programs director for our sister station, Hits FM. Prince is here in the studio. So, Prince, tomorrow is the day for Rep Your Jersey, and we understand that the UEFA Champions League finals is being watched there. Give us the rundown.
All right, so tomorrow is going to be a day where we're going to have some celebrities play some games. Okay. We're going to have table tennis, and we're going to have video games, and finally a quiz. The quiz began on Hits 103.9 FM morning show with Andy Dusty, hosted by George Ado Jr. And it looks like we've gotten some people for the finals. Okay. We're going to be winning TV sets and so many lovely prizes.
Oh, is it too late to join?
I need a
TV. I need a new TV.
It's too late to join.
Wow.
And in fact, it's going to be at the Bayview Village. Yeah. And so, I mean, if you want to come and you know somebody who works at Hits 103.9 FM, you can get a ticket. Now, we are inviting people. It's not going to be open to the general public because of the COVID-19. Okay. We want to observe protocol.
So this is strictly by invitation?
Strictly by invitation, yeah. And we want to observe protocol. So we have this QR code scanned on phones that people are going to use to enter.
So how do I get an invitation? I'm home, I want to be a part. I don't know whether the place is already booked. How do I get to be a part?
In fact, you need to know somebody in the team.
But that's not fair.
Yeah, in fact, we want the core Hits FM listeners to be there.
So this is for hardcore Hits FM lovers.
Yes, that's how come we can reward them for their loyalty. Yeah, but it's going to be streamed on social media. It's going to be on Facebook. The games that we are going to be playing will be on Facebook. So you can just get onto our social media handles, Instagram, Facebook, Hits 103.9 FM, and get to see some of the games. Okay. In fact, we're going to have the likes of Kiddy playing video games, medical, etc. Oh, it's going to be nice. And the Dusty is going to be playing table tennis also as well. Okay. And he's going to do that with DKB and Beast Dake and a host of others. You know, so it's going to be fun. And this year we decided to do the semi-virtual edition just to make sure that
people,
so that we can keep the brand alive, because last year we couldn't do it because of the COVID-19 disease. So this year we want to do something spectacular. Yeah.
Even though it's just, you know, strictly by invitation, you have to be a Hits FM lover to be a part of it, but you can join them online. So let's do a few takeaways. Your final words, Dawn.
All right, so I would want you to support us by just getting onto our social media handles. If you don't get to make it to the venue, don't you worry. Next year, we hope that after the COVID-19 has subsided, we'll definitely open it up at the usual venue.
So, but wait, which jersey is that? Which jersey are you repping?
Liverpool.
Oh.
Yeah. But I'm supporting Chelsea tomorrow.
Why?
Chelsea is Ghana's team, you know.
No.
That's true.
It's not my team.
Are you sure?
No.
When Michael Essien was there, lots of Ghanaians got attracted.
I mean, we've moved on. We've moved on.
I know, but the love is still there. You know, Makala is blue, so.
So you're repping the Liverpool
now, yes, because I supported them the last 2 seasons.
I saw Avio when Avio came. She was also repping the same jersey.
Yes.
I mean, why is it a Hits FM thing?
Oh no, it's a preference for Avio and I.
Oh wow. Yeah. Oh wow. Okay. Well, so tomorrow it is. Then you can follow on the social media handles of Hits FM, and you get to see what's happening. But if you know, I mean, you certainly are a follower of Hits FM, you certainly will get a ticket. You should, as Prince says, you should look around, talk to your friends, and come and rep your jersey. That's tomorrow at the Bayview Village at Hacho, right?
Yeah.
At Hacho Atomic.
At 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
So around Hacho Atomic, this is starting at 3 p.m. And is there a number to call or anything like that if you want to interact with somebody about, you know, the social media, or you just go to the social media?
Yeah, just go to our social media house. In fact, we have some dedicated WhatsApp groups, the Daybreak Hits WhatsApp group, the Loyal Fans of the Dawn, and the Turn Up Army Soldiers. They alone can fill the place, honestly. Trust me.
Okay, let's leave it here. We will leave it here. Well, this is a chance, this is a time where we should have done Let's Talk Showbiz, but of course, this is Showbiz. Tomorrow, come and see what Kitty, Kwame Eugene, Medical, and you know, Andy Dusty, all of them playing. You've got to be there. Prince Chega there. You can call him the Don. He's the programs director for our sister station Hits FM. Wrapping it up for us nicely here. Prince, thank you for coming. Enjoy your weekend. My name is Gifty Ando-Apia. You do certainly know that there is more news at myjoyonline.com. I'll urge you to log on to it. And when you click on the stories, there are options for you to share with your contacts so they know what's going on. Have yourself a great weekend. We'll see you again on Monday.